Well, good afternoon. We would like to welcome everyone to Fayetteville High School on this very special day for our Purple Dog basketball program. Our athletic department is blessed to have the continued support of this great school district and community. We would also like to take this opportunity to thank our school district board of education, our superintendent, Dr. John L. Colbert, FHS principal, Dr. Dostal, for their continued support for our 1,600 plus student athletes and staff. Without that support, we would not be able to provide the level of experience to our students that Fayetteville Athletics is known for on a local, state, and national level. We want to thank the students, families, and alumni for being here and their support of our program. You are the heart of Fayetteville Athletics. Also, a thank you to the media for being here and the job that you do showcasing our students and staff. It has been stated, you can't really know where you're going unless you know where you've been. For 37 years, Coach Kyle Adams has served students, families, and communities with the 3 C's: class, character, and consistency. It is not uncommon for careers to begin with success. However, less so to maintain that success with integrity. But it is truly rare air to begin, maintain, and finish the race with an impeccable reputation, record, and most importantly, a lasting impact on so many. There is no question Coach Kyle Adams has accomplished this exceptional achievement. So how can we celebrate Coach Adams in this tradition-rich basketball program? One way is asking Coach Adams to introduce our new head basketball coach. Kyle, would you please do the honor?
I can't tell you how excited, proud, all those things pop into my head to see the fraternity of what Fayetteville basketball is. From coaches before me, Coach Gebhardt, glad to see you. Coach Kretschmeyer was the foundation of this basketball program. There is no doubt. He was my coach, Brad's coach. I can't tell you how proud I am of Brad. I coached him in 8th grade. That's how long ago it was, in 1984. I know I can't hardly believe I remember that far back, but he was the skinny little guy when I walked in Woodland Junior High for the first time, standing at the door. At first, he was looking at my wife. Then he was looking at my car. I had a little sports car at that time.
Man, you're stealing my thunder, man.
So those are the things that I remember about Brad more than anything else. That, and he was a great player, but that's beside the point. Coach, thank you for the nice words. Those are not deserved. Our basketball kids deserve every bit of that. Coach Stamps, Coach Bogart, Coach Rose, Coach Fisher, Coach Garner, all these people that make up our basketball program and make it what it is. And I know right now it's going in great places. Coach Brad Stamps.
Thank you, Coach, for those kind words. And you stole my thunder a little bit about 84, because I'm going to hit on that here in just a second. But first of all, welcome. Thank you all for being here. There's so many people in the crowd that mean so much to all of us, and I appreciate you taking your time out to be here. Special thanks to Dr. Colbert, his leadership team, the school board, for trusting in me to take over this program. Coach Jansky, for your friendship, your belief in me. Dr. Dostal, I know he's in the house over here, for his wisdom and leadership. Obviously, my family, who's up here in the front row, going to taunt me probably here in a minute, for the sacrifices. Obviously, there's many sacrifices in this profession, and I appreciate them for all their loyalty to me and getting me where I'm supposed to go and making sure I'm on task. Sonia, for her friendship, her toughness. I didn't get through it, did I? But I appreciate you and love you. My kids, for their sacrifices and the things that they've gone through with me. The fellow coaches, and Coach hit on them, and all of those people mean the world to me. they're superstars in this profession, and I'm privileged and blessed to be a part of you guys. The community, and you're all here, many friends, and the support, the encouragement that you guys give us makes this job a lot easier. It gets tough sometimes, but just having you guys there in our corner means a lot. And then last but certainly not least, my mentor, my life coach, Coach Adams. He mentioned the summer of '84, and I remember it like it was yesterday. I'm sitting in the gym at Woodland. We knew we were getting a new basketball coach. I'm a little 8th grader running around, and we're waiting for him to arrive, and here comes this sweet blue 280ZX into the parking lot, squealing his tires. We're like, man, that's him? And he gets out with his hair feathered back, and I'm like, man, this guy's cool. The door opens up, and there's John East, beautiful John East. And so we knew we had a cool guy that knew what he was doing. Then it turned into playing for the man, and you learn so much, the discipline part of it, the day-to-day, being taught the game of basketball. He always preached to us, and he still preaches today, that no one is bigger than the program, no one is bigger than the team. And that's kind of stuck with me throughout my career. I had a great time playing for him, obviously. After college, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was bouncing around odd jobs, doing different things, and really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I just always remember that connection. Talked about, the leadership that he provided and the just what he meant to me. And so I went to him and had a conversation, and I'm sure he remembers that conversation about, I don't know what I want to do, but, do you need any extra help? And he offered the opportunity for me to come volunteer for a year to see if that's something that I wanted to do, and I'll never forget that. And that started my coaching career. I walked in, fell in love with it instantly. Bobby Crockett was there as well, good friend that I got to learn from Crockett, and I got to learn from Coach Adams, and couldn't think of two better people to start the business with. And that kind of started things for me. From there, obviously, as an 8th grade, I got hired as a full-time 8th grade basketball coach at Woodland, assisted on the 9th grade. Also coached football for a little while, wasn't very good at that. Learned a lot from those two men. Next, Coach Gibhart, who's here tonight, and I appreciate you being here, Coach. It means a lot that you're here. Hired me as assistant, called me up, got a chance to be with him and his leadership here, and what a great time we had. Got to coach some great players, see a few of them here. I see Brewer over there, hiding out over there. Got a chance to coach him, and a lot of good players in that time period. And then all of a sudden, a job opened up at Shiloh Christian, and had many people in my inner circle of friends that were telling me, there's no way you should take that job. It's a football school. They've never won in basketball. Why would you do that? Why would you leave Fayetteville High School to go take your first head coaching job in that kind of environment? For me, it was real simple. Let's prove people wrong. And so we jumped in, full speed ahead, got a chance to start something there that I'm very proud of. And, within 4 years, we're playing the state semifinals. We're coming off back-to-back conference championships and district championships, a couple regional championships. And, we were surrounded by great people and had great players. Got a chance to meet one of my dear friends who was starting the girls program at the exact same time, Vic Rimmer, who's here, which is special to me as well. And then I had a brother that was starting a program at Harbor. Yeah, I know Harbor. And so he called and said, hey, man, he said, I'm starting this deal over here at Harbor, and, I know you got your team coming back at Shiloh, coming off a state semifinal. I know you're going to be pretty good again, but I need some help. Eric and I had a relationship. We grew up playing AAU basketball together and traveled the country together. Was really proud of him and what he was doing. I told him no. About 2 weeks later, he came back and asked me again, put a little bit more pressure on me, and I guess I broke and took that job. With a mindset that he was probably going to be there for a couple years to start the program, and then he was going to go back home to Northside. Well, during those 2 years, a job at Springdale opened up, and some people called and said, man, I think you would be, Charlie Smith was finishing his career, and he had called and said, man, I think you'd be great for this position. And so I jumped all in for Springdale and started a program. When I took the program, we had 7 players now, 10 through 12 for whatever reason. And so I knew right away we were going to have a tryout and get bodies. And so I just remember that time period of saying, golly, this has got to get better than this. And so we jumped in that first year. You know, we had 22 players, I believe, after a tryout. Out of those 22 players, there were 4 of the 22 players on that roster that had active fathers in their home. And so all of a sudden your role changes. And it was a blessing for me to go through that, because now you're dealing with, you're a counselor, you're a father, you're doing all these things for so many. And I love the fact that I went through that experience. It's helped me tremendously in my outlook and things moving forward. From there, you know, we go in year 5 to a state championship game. Did some great things there. Was surrounded by, once again, a great staff who, all of those guys are head coaches in their own programs now. I'm proud of that with my coaching tree. And then one day I'm sitting in my principal's office at Springdale. I'd been talking to some people about taking an athletic director job at Prairie Grove. And I had a timeline to get back with them on whether I was going to take the job. I really didn't want to get out of coaching, but it was, you know, it was a good opportunity. The man that was the superintendent of schools at Prairie Grove at that time was the principal that hired me at Springdale, so we had a relationship. And so I was going in to talk to my principal. And as I'm sitting in the principal's office, my phone rings in my pocket, and I look down, kind of pull it out of my pocket, and it says Kyle Adams. So I push it back in my pocket and continue our conversation. And he made a comment to me. We're both men of faith, and he made a comment to me. And he said many times, excuse me, you know, we pray that God will open a door, that it's the right situation. But how often do we pray that God will show you a sign that it's not the right opportunity? And so that stuck with me. We finished the conversation. I leave the room, immediately run out, call Coach Adams, and he says, hey, are you in a position where you can talk? I said, sure. And he said, I've got something going on here. You don't have to tell me right now, but I'm going to have a position open on my staff. Coach Deffenbaugh was taking an opportunity with the Lady Razorbacks, and would love for you to think about this opportunity. Well, my heart starts beating 100 miles an hour because I'm thinking about the conversation I just had with my principal. I've got to go call Prairie Grove and tell them I just got my sign. And so I went home. Sonia and I talked about it. It just felt like it was the right thing to do. The right thing to do for lots of reasons. One, like I told you before, my life coach is calling. I knew he was getting close towards the end of his career. Didn't particularly know how close, but I knew. And so I asked tough questions, a lot of tough questions. You know, you're going from a head coach on the highest level. You're coming off going to a state championship game. And your life coach calls and says, you know what? I'd love for you to come be with me towards the end of my career. Well, as I told you earlier, he gave me the opportunity to start this coaching career. What better opportunity for me as a pay-it-forward situation to go back and serve and to put my ego aside and go help the man that brought me into the business. And that's what I chose to do. Been a great experience. The 4 years that we've been together, I know for both of us has meant a lot to both of us professionally, personally, and it's been awesome. So today, for me, this is my dream job. but it's bittersweet in the fact that I'm replacing somebody that means so much. But I know every morning when I get here next year and he's not in there giving me a hard time, I'm picking up the phone and I'm going to interrupt his Price is Right just to have a conversation. The tradition and pride for this community and this basketball program means so much. You know, I was just a Fayetteville kid, a kid that, you know, I was begging my parents to drop me off at the Fayetteville Youth Center, the Boys and Girls Club. I see Coach Fish and Eric Bradford over here, and that's what we did. I mean, every morning we were dropped off at the Youth Center, and, you know, hopefully that Mark Paul and Dale Clark didn't check our membership cards because none of us really had them. We just showed up to hoop. And, you know, we developed those relationships, and those relationships stayed with us for many, many years. The community support and the pride of this place, I know every game, when we sing the national anthem, my eyes are looking around the arena, and I see so many of you here today, and that's awesome. This program means so much to so many. And I always look at it and I think of it now, and as I'm fixing to take this over, is, you know, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much, and I believe that. FHS, this floor behind us, when Coach Jansky came to me about a press conference and, you know, where we wanted to do this, you know, obviously the first thought's always the arena, but I wanted to do it in here for Coach and I because we played on this floor right behind us that's back here. And that floor has got a lot of history, a lot of tradition. It means a lot to so many in here. I see Trey Trumbo sitting on the end. He ran up and down this a few times. But it means so much. Coming up from a ninth grader playing for Coach Adams and having the opportunity to come up here and play for Coach Kretschmeyer, a Hall of Famer, no doubt, in my opinion, many others' opinion, one of the greatest teachers of the game that's ever lived. Tremendous. Now, I was a little fearful of Coach Kretschmeyer coming up because I'd heard all kinds of stories from the past. And at the time, it wasn't easy. It was not easy. But now that I'm through that and I look back at it, I thank him so much because I understood the only thing he was trying to do was get the best out of each and every one of us. And he pushed us to the limit. And he didn't accept anything but that. And I appreciate and value being able to play for that man. In 1987, on this floor, which was somewhere over there then, we got an opportunity to host a state tournament my sophomore year. Get to host the state tournament. Back then they played it all the way through. There wasn't a week in between where you go to Hot Springs. We win a state championship on this floor. What an unbelievable experience as a 16-year-old getting to win a state championship in front of your community, which many of you were in that arena that night, and it was unbelievable experience. And I look back at those times and, you know, all that pride and everything we put into it, and it's special, and this fraternity's special. There's so many teammates that are here tonight, so many former Bulldogs that are here tonight, and they know what I'm talking about when we talk about the fraternity. And it's a special thing, and we all cherish that. Moving forward from this day, I'm looking forward. I see many of our team coming back this next year. I can't wait to sit down with individual meetings with each and every one of them. And then as a team, we talk about and set a vision moving forward for what we want to do. And I can't wait for that time to come. I'm ready to get started with you guys. Staff, you know, we obviously, because I'm moving positions, my position opens up. And we've got some really good candidates internally. And I can't wait to get started on that. Don't know when that process will start, but hopefully soon to get that taken care of. And then we got to get our off season and our summer camps going on. Once again, this is my dream job. I'm very, very thrilled to have the opportunity to play for this man, to call him a friend, and I thank all of you once again for being here. Thank you.
We're going to open it up for questions, so you can just shout them out to them.
Some of you, I'm fearful. Anybody have any questions whatsoever? Off-season training, Connor Barnett is going to be lots of this and lots of this, and making sure you continue to make shots. Good question. And we'll start that Monday. Okay. Anybody else? Trey.
78. I can explain that real quickly.
Trey Trumbo, who is a member of the 75 state championship team. Coach Adams, a member of the 78 state championship team. Coach
He
Stamps,
came in third.
Coach Stamps, a member of the third of the 87 state championship team. Well, that's we'll never know. We can have opinions. They were really, really good. Here he comes. That's awesome. And that's another thing that I cherish, is the fact that his kids, Alex and Mason and John East, this right here, how could you not retire and just enjoy this? What an awesome grandpa.
Any more questions? Well, again, I want to thank Dr. Colbert for his leadership and his team, Miss Kathy Shaw, Miss Angela Phillips, Mr. Ziegler for helping us set all this up, the media again for coming out, and especially all of you coming out on this very special day for our Purple Dog basketball program. Thank you so much. They'll be around. We have refreshments over here to your left, our right, and Coach Adams and Coach Stamps will be available for comment to the media. Thank you so much for coming.
Okay.
So good.